Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, we'll go ahead and get started here. Just a couple of quick items. First, a thanks to the Morris Inn for making their new facility available to us this morning. For those in the media who are here, they will be having a sort of a media day themselves on August 27th. So next week, you'll be invited to come tour the facility and see what all is going on. They're in the midst of a soft launch right now, and so we appreciate you, if you're interested in a story, touching base with them next week. We'll get started with our news conference on parking and traffic for football, and happy to have Phil Johnson, the Director of Notre Dame Security Police, who will take care of things for us. Thanks, Phil. Also, just a reminder, at the end, if you have questions, we'll be happy to take those, and one-on-ones will be available also afterwards if you'd like to do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Good morning. Again, my name's Phil Johnson, the Chief of Police at the University of Notre Dame, and I want to take a couple of minutes to introduce our partner agencies and thank them for being here. Also to the media, a great thanks in helping get our message out about public safety and traffic safety for the motorists who will be arriving for the Notre Dame football games, and importantly for the motorists who will be not going to the football game and want to be able to get around the city of South Bend too. So some people that I want to introduce today, Mike Seaman is the Associate Vice President for Campus Safety and the Director of Game Day Operations. I also want to point out a couple of our partners from the Indiana Toll Road. Pat Condon is the manager. Pat, if you want to stand up, Pat is the manager of the Indiana Toll Road maintenance. Amber Kettering is here from Public Relations of the Indiana Toll Road. They are great partners in helping us plan. Tim Moon, who is First Sergeant and Acting Commander of the Toll Road Post, is here with us. Chad Larsh, Lieutenant Chad Larsh, is the District Commander for District 24. Trent Smith, Sergeant Trent Smith, is the PIO with the Indiana State Police, runs our Twitter account and for game day and watches traffic when we have the helicopter up. Sergeant Jeff Wilson and Sergeant Mike Young from District 24 here as well. I want to introduce Captain Jim Rutkowski from the St. Joseph County Police. And Captain Phil Trent from the South Bend Police. And then from my staff, Assistant Chief Jeff Koros and Les Nabalski, who manages our traffic and parking operation on campus. So those are the partners that come together for public safety. And our work together collaboratively as partners for game day traffic is done in the public safety interest. Imagine inviting 100,000 people to our community and then trying to not have a traffic pattern and how that might complicate life. So the police are involved in game day traffic to maintain a safe, orderly traffic flow so that we can avoid backing traffic up onto the Indiana Toll Road and creating a tremendous hazard on the main line, or by making certain that roadways are available for emergency vehicles, for fire and ambulance to service both the campus community and the greater community on game day if anything bad should happen. And a byproduct of all of that is a great experience for our fans and a great experience for the men and women of South Bend who have no interest in going to the game and just need to go someplace. That's why we run and coordinate traffic together as partners. So I'd like to invite Lieutenant Larsh to come up from the Indiana State Police and just give a bit of an overview of what we do on game day.
Good morning, and thank you. Basically on game day, we start our traffic pattern approximately 3 hours before game time. That traffic pattern runs pretty solid for about the first 2 hours. The last hour, we start breaking down because most of the fans have arrived. We get a lot of traffic that comes in off the toll road, and with the new Douglas Road being revamped, we're going to be able to push a lot of that traffic right off the toll road, right directly into the white lot, what is known as the white lot. I think this is going to speed the process of getting traffic on and off the toll road. The bottom line of what we're doing our traffic patterns for is public safety, both for people that are attending the game and just general public. We need to remind the general public that, you know, they've lived here for a long time. They know what to expect on game day. If they don't want to get caught in that traffic pattern, then they need to get their errands run either before, after, or during the game, not the 2 hours or 3 hours prior to the game or 2 hours after the game. It really doesn't matter what we do after the game. On a good night, we're usually done with the traffic pattern in about 2.5 hours. On a bad night, it's about 2.5 hours. So we just need to remind people of patience. There is a reason that we do everything that we do. There is times that the people that are stuck in the traffic pattern are sitting stationary for a few minutes. Maybe they don't see the reason that we have them stopped, but there's a reason due to escorting maybe one of the teams in or out of the facility. So we have to stop traffic at certain locations, and the general public wants to know why they're being stopped because they can't see a reason for it. The intersection appears clear. That's because we're alleviating traffic in another area to open up those lines of travel. Want to remind the general public, especially with the new revamp of Douglas Road and traffic patterns, that when we establish a traffic pattern, a GPS is just not going to do you any good. It will do you good to get here to the city, but once you're here, disregard that and just simply follow the signs and the officers' instructions, because if you start watching your GPS, it's going to tell you maybe a shortest route. That's not the fastest route on game day. The fastest route is to stick with the traffic pattern and exercise your patience. Roughly in the halfway through the fourth quarter of the game is when we will start looking at reestablishing our traffic pattern. So if you are general public and live in the local area, be cognizant of that and try to be back to your house or to work or a location that you're not going to get stuck on our traffic pattern, because we'll start implementing that traffic pattern mid-fourth quarter, because if it's a blowout game, we'll have people leaving early. If it's a bad weather game, we could have people leaving early. So we'll actually start that traffic pattern prior to the game being over. Some of our assets will be providing, the state police will be providing a helicopter at the games this year. Our PIO, Sergeant Trent Smith, will be airborne in that with Captain Gene Eister from South Bend Police Department. That will assist in our interagency communications, and our communications between the agencies is very important. That's what allows us to run the traffic pattern smoothly. I'll turn this over to Trent Smith.
Good morning, Sergeant Trent Smith with the Indiana State Police. Just a couple things I want to touch on today. We started a Twitter account a couple years ago. It kind of fell by the wayside a little bit last year because we didn't have the opportunity to use a helicopter. Where the helicopter really comes in handy is that you get the overall picture. You can see from the air where the lots are at, how full are they, how empty are they, how the traffic pattern's moving. But what the Twitter account does, and in order to follow the Twitter account, it's at ND Traffic. There'll be a link to that on the State Police website, on Notre Dame's Game Day Traffic website, and then also that Twitter account has a link back to Notre Dame. But what that does is, while I'm in the air, prior to the game, as Chad said, the 2 to 3 hours prior to the game, and then especially the 2 hours after the game, if people follow that, they'll get actual live, up-to-the-minute updates on what's going on. Things we put out in the past are accidents. You know, why is traffic stopped? Well, there might have been an accident on State Road 933. Where is the best place to park? Is it just to go to the White Lot, or maybe it's to go to the golf course, or maybe it's to park off-site somewhere else, like across the street at St. Mary's. So we'll kind of help you navigate the traffic coming into the stadium and also leaving the stadium. As I said, it's real time. A lot of time I'll also send out pictures on that account. The second thing to address is people, as Chad also addressed, the GPS getting to the stadium. Most people know how to get here. They don't necessarily need to use the GPS, but they know one route, and that's the route that they typically travel. One thing that we always try to push out on the Twitter, and we tell people year after year, is keep in mind of the other exits that are on the Indiana Toll Road other than just the 77 where you plan on getting off. Obviously, it's the most convenient, but it's not always the fastest route. We also like to tell people, keep in mind using the 72 exit, which is to the west, and the 83, which is Mishawaka Granger, to the east. Even though you have about 5 miles distance between those two exits, it might actually be faster for you to go that route, either coming in or egressing. Sometimes people get kind of caught up in a traffic pattern and they only know one way. They need to be aware that, we have 3 exits across the toll road, and that'll get them to their destination, sometimes faster than the way that they first came in.
Captain Phil Trent, you want to talk about South Bend's perspective? We have some additional construction south of campus, as many of you are aware, State Road 23.
Good morning, Phil Trent, South Bend Police. The most significant change to South Bend, and people will notice this readily, is the reconfiguration of the Eddy Street, South Bend Avenue corridor in and out of the city. It looks nothing like it did before. Many streets have been cut off from Eddy Street. The street takes some bends and some twists. So again, to reiterate, anybody who's using GPS or Google Maps, whatever they're driving with, it has been so reconfigured that not only are these streets closed off, barricaded, some in a one-way pattern that you would not normally see, but they're just not existing in the way they used to. So from our perspective, we don't think there's going to be a lot of significant game day changes other than that reconfiguration of Eddy Street, South Bend Avenue. We also have a couple of intersections and some projects that have not been completed, so some of the intersections are closed and still under construction. So all we ask is that you follow the direction of officers, maintain a close eye on the Twitter accounts that are giving you up-to-the-minute traffic updates, and that should enhance the experience. And everybody's going to need, from South Bend residents to infrequent guests, we'll have to relearn this new traffic pattern. And after a couple of games, I think it'll ease things. But we would also suggest that people get an earlier start than usual for the first couple of games and relearn their paths to get to the lots that they would normally park in.
Okay, so we've got some opportunity for questions and answers. I might just say that I heard from one of my colleagues of a great adage. He said those motorists who travel with patients or bring their patients with them seem to have a quicker trip, and they seem to enjoy the ride more as well. But we've got some construction. We've got a lot of law enforcement agencies that have planned routes around the construction. We think it's going to, the new road on Douglas is going to improve the experience of moving traffic smoothly and safely. What questions do you have as media that you might want to ask on behalf of your viewers? I'll open this up for questions. So 3 hours before kickoff, we go into the one-way pattern when many of the streets around campus become one-way. We'll be directing traffic into the lots. Other traffic that isn't going to the stadium will be routed through and around the campus. And then about 2 to 2.5 hours post-game, we'll have a one-way traffic pattern. That time in between kickoff and the end of the game, free and clear, very, very little traffic moving on area streets. Yes, please.
Just besides the Twitter, do you have any plans to release maps or anything other than that for guests, other ways to get around traffic?
Sure. So on the map that's before me is on our website at ndsp.nd.edu. There's a link there to game day for football traffic and parking. We're working with the athletic department to push out information on their Twitter account as well as through und.com. You will get some information from Dennis Brown via email later today with some of the diagrams of the new Douglas Road configuration. I think we also have a diagram of some of the construction on State Road 23, but that technically isn't within our traffic pattern. We're able to arrange around that so you don't see that construction on our maps. And Lieutenant Gene Eister, who commands the traffic section for the South Bend Police, I certainly want to mention him and thank him for all his work in game day traffic. He wasn't able to be here today, but Gene is convinced that it's all going to work very well in that new system around the south part of the campus. State Road 23 is going to be a great improvement, so we're excited about that. Other questions? Okay, Jeff, anything that we wanted to mention from our side that I didn't cover? Yeah. Again, I want to thank the media for being here today and for helping us get out a message to motorists about safe travel on game day and enjoying a wonderful opportunity to gather with friends, family, and fans from all across the country to experience what I think is the greatest collegiate football experience in the country. I really am grateful to our partners, the Indiana State Police, the Indiana Toll Road, the South Bend Police, the St. Joseph County Police, and their partner agencies in the county and the city as well, from traffic and lighting to the county highway department and the state highway department, all who work together in a way that's just remarkable to create a wonderful experience, a safe game day experience for anyone who's traveling the roads to get to Notre Dame. Thank you again.